Okay, here's a quick video to show you how to create your character on Demiplane. You can go to demiplane.com. It will autocorrect to app.demiplane.com. From there, you need to sign in. Should be in the top right. It'll allow you to log in right next to the cart and everything like that. After which you will click either create characters, or if you'd like to view some other things or go through a different path, you can of course click up here to go to the specific game system you're using, or you can click your characters and it will show all characters you've created, as well as give you the option of creating new characters by clicking on there. There's just a filter here. Oh, click create characters up here. So once you've logged into Demiplane, again, click start creating a character by using any of those paths. And then here, for example, it just took me back there. Click the top right, create character, and you're going to choose the Daggerheart system. If you have clicked the link that I put in Discord, you should have access. If you don't have access, then please message me and let me know, and I will grant you content sharing access. You do have to click that link that I put in Discord and not just log into Demiplane. So once you're logged in, if you haven't clicked it, go back to Discord, click that link, and then I can enable content sharing. The system for Daggerheart does include ready to play characters, which you can click here, and then you can just sort of choose what seems of interest to you. However, if you'd like to choose a character of your own creation, which I think is a great idea, you can begin by selecting a character, change the campaign frame to the one we are running, which is going to be Beast Feast up here at the top. It does not do much for you, except it does change the character appearance, the character sheet appearance, as well as provide several particular functions. So, for example, with Beast Feast, you heal hit points and hope and all that with a meal instead of through the normal method. So it should take care of that for us functionally. You can create a character name right now if you'd like, but probably I'd guess you don't know what you want your character to be called right now, and then you're going to start at level 1. We'll all start at level 1. Once all that's done, don't worry, you can rename your character, change pronouns, whatever, and choose your image later, but I'm just going to select this for now. After that, you can click the Begin section, and clicking Begin takes you to your class. Most people find it easiest to begin with class. I agree. However, there are a lot of options here, so they can become overwhelming. You'll notice something with Daggerheart. If you've read any of the book, or if you're just looking at this for the first time, you might notice that there is a section on the right-hand side that tells you two kind of domains or attributes. These are the two aspects or two domains from which that class can draw cards, which is powers, abilities, features, all that. So if you're like, I like the idea of Midnight, well, you can see if there's another character besides an assassin that has Midnight, and so there is. The rogue has Midnight. Or similarly, if you want somebody that has magic, but a specific kind of magic, let's say you're looking at a druid and they have sage magic. Maybe you want sage magic, but you don't want to play a druid. So scroll down here and you can find, I think the witch is? Yeah, there she is. The witch, or he, uses sage and dread. So that gives you a little bit of a flavor of what that character is going to be about, but also mechanically it gives you your abilities that you'll be able to draw from. Clicking on the character doesn't seal you forever. You can click it and then click another one and see the different options here. And then it will tell you, one of the nice things about Demiplane is that you can hover and it'll tell you lots of information. But it'll tell you the sort of basic information up front on this here. It tells you the subclasses also. You can read through all this as much as you want while you make your class selection. I would just sort of I would narrow it down. Process of elimination. I would choose 3, maybe 2 or 3 that look interesting to you. I would read part of their description. I would look at the keywords, see if that sounds like something, or if you may want to switch. You might even find that I don't know what a seraph is, but now that I've seen Valor and Splendor next to it, I can sort of guess that this is kind of like a paladin. And so you can, choose seraph or whatever seems of interest to you. I'm going to, for our purposes, create a, let's see, where's the, got Assassin, Bard, Brawler, Druid, Guardian, there it is. Okay. So this is the class I'm going to select just for this tutorial. You'll see the domains up here, Valor and Blade. You can see starting evasion. That is what I have to reach. I have to meet or beat in order to hit you. And then you've got starting hit points. Your starting hit points will be low. Notice I'm a Guardian, and Guardians have a lot of health, and I only start with 7. So let that just be a reference for you. It tells you all this other stuff, but all this stuff will sort of, again, read it as much as you want, but all this stuff will come up on your character sheet as well as in creation. Once you've selected your class, I'm selecting Guardian, I click the Select Class button at the top of the banner, and that moves me on to the next section. Choose a subclass. You can anytime you see a 0 or imperfect ratio here, you can click that, and then there are options. It does once you select it, it says selections, which almost makes it feel like you're supposed to select something more. Say one selection, but it really just means that you have done the selection there. So you're going to choose a subclass that matches your preference, and it gives you Daggerheart. The core system comes with some cards, and these would be played or set in front of you. A very nice mechanic, but one that is doesn't translate perfectly digitally. So you get to see the card here, what it has, what it does for you. Choose your subclass. Move on to your traits. Your suggested traits. Notice there's a little blue show more, show less button. You can always click that. But your traits, it will tell you suggested traits. See that there? Use suggested traits or don't use suggested traits. So you can use suggested traits and then move on, and it says I've made 4 selections since I've selected that. Or you can choose to go, suboptimal or whatever you want to consider this, just by selecting your own, make 4 selections. And then move on to the next area. I'm going to hit use suggested for this, and then move on to the next one where there is an imperfect ratio. Choose starting weapons. It does give you a recommended starting weapon here. Again, lots of text, but I'm just going to be repeating myself ad nauseum if I say that every time. There's lots of text here, which is helpful for you to understand, but not always required. So notice that none of these have a recommended icon next to it. So let me go ahead and go to the next. Let's see. Let me hit that. Oh, why is it not showing my recommended items? Well, actually, that is pretty strange. It normally tells you which items or weapons are recommended for you. And it may be because, see here, barrel, lid, shield. It may be because of the Beast Feast uses special items. And so maybe that's why it removes my normal weapons that I would typically have. So I have a crop scythe for like a farmer, cleaver if I was a butcher, butcher's axe if I was a butcher, cooking knife if I was a chef. So just select something that is relevant to your character or to your character idea. So maybe not mechanically, but narratively. Hitting that down arrow, of course, will show you what it does, shows you what your main trait is that you'll be using to roll that ability. And you can always reference up at the top here what ability is your primary ability, or reset your traits by going back here and changing it if you want to do something different. So since strength is my weapon, see if I can filter by strength here. Looks like I can. So nope, that uses presence. Let me see if I type in full strength. So here's all the strength-based items. I'm gonna grab a. I'm gonna set my guardian to be a forger. He's gonna cook the fires. So I'm gonna grab him a 2-handed weapon here, and then I'm gonna grab him. I get to make another selection, a table shield. Choose starting armor. Now, each of these armor score is great. However, each of them have downsides too. So by taking the breastplate, I get a -2 to evasion. That means it's easier to hit me. Armor and evasion are a balanced scale in this game. Evasion is what the enemy, the foe, has to reach to hit you. Armor is how durable your armor is at soaking up damage. So I'll say that again real quick. Armor score soaks damage. Evasion score means you got hit. So you can either make yourself very quick so that you're not hit, or you can make yourself very hardy so that when you are hit, it doesn't matter. The class that I've chosen, the Guardian, the Stalwart Guardian especially, is heavily based upon not evasion. He has a very low evasion, but rather soaking a lot of damage. So I'm going to choose one of the highest level armors for me. Let's see. So that's either the the baking tray, or the tree bark. Here's my base threshold. These are damage thresholds. Damage thresholds are what... let me back up slightly. When you take damage in this game, most of these rules I'll explain again at the start of our session, but just so you know what you're getting yourself into. When you take damage in this game, you don't take the full amount of damage ideal. It works on a threshold system. You'll take either 1, 2, or 3 hit points of damage, and the threshold marks whether it's 1 damage, 2 damage, or 3 damage. If I roll below your threshold, let's say I roll a 6, you'll only take 1 point of damage. If I roll above that threshold of 7 or that threshold of 8, let's say I roll a 9, you'll be taking 2 hit points of damage. And then lastly, if I roll above 15 or above, then I will deal 3 points of damage to you. You can absorb that using your armor, and then you can absorb or take the rest of it using your hit points. But that's what those thresholds are. So if you're trying to figure out what you want or what you don't want, it's really, they've done their best to balance, I think mostly successfully, but they've done their best to balance thresholds, evasion, and then some downsides as well. So what I'm gonna do, I don't care about evasion. I'm gonna take the baking tray breastplate here. You might see that there are armor tier 1 here. There is a way to bypass the system and add tier 2 armor to yourself, as well as tier 2 weapons. Please don't do that. They are great, but they are also more complicated for you. Those are you get when you level up, essentially. I've chosen my starting armor and my starting weapon, so let's move on to my starting inventory. Choose a health potion or a stamina potion. It's hard to know which one to choose until you read your cards and abilities. So I would recommend coming back to your starting inventory, choose one of these, right? Choose a health potion or stamina potion. But first you have to know whether you're going to need stamina or you're going to need health. I already know this character is going to need health, not stamina. But if you're trying to figure out what you will need, you can look at these abilities. You get to select 2 of these at the start, and eventually you'll be able to select more. But you can read the abilities on the cards. This tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, those are all levels. So just pay attention to that bottom level 1 or that top one if you have one of those abilities. Let me see here. So here's a keyword. Mark a stress. Okay, stress is one of the counters that you have more of or less of in this game, and stress is replenished by a stamina potion. So if you're going to take a lot of stress cards, stress abilities, go ahead and take a stamina potion. If you're going to take a lot of HP cards, which might not actually be cards but rather just abilities, then might as well take the HP bonus instead of the stress bonus. Enemies can force you to take stress as well, but it's less common. And then the hope is not related to HP or stress, or health potion or stamina potion. So hope is a different currency that is involved in the game, and specifically with allies and dice rolling. Regardless, you can choose your cards, whatever you think is a good one here. I'm going to use I'm Your Shield. It's a very good guardian ability here. And then I'm not really worried about dealing damage, so I'm not going to take that. Instead, let me see, I'm going to get Forceful Push might be good here. Just spend a hope, close range, add some damage. I already have armor, so that's not actually good for me either. I am going to take this one, even though it's a stress, and I'm going to take an HP because I'm going to take a lot of damage. I'm not worried about the stress necessarily. That's an uncommon ability for me that I'll plan to use anyway. Okay, and I will choose. These have potentially narrative value, but otherwise don't worry about it. So I'm just going to choose whatever seems interesting, and I think Secret Key is interesting to me, but a totem from my mentor is probably more important to this character. Once I do that, I've selected all of these things. Notice that there are no imperfect fractions, so I can move over to the next section, which is my heritage. Ancestry comes in... I bypassed something. There was some information there that you could read through. Ancestry and community. For now, I would recommend avoiding transformation. You can do one if you really want to. Again, they are more complicated. If you really have a character ID in mind that's like, ooh, I really want to play a shapeshifter, go ahead, that's fine. But otherwise, I just recommend choosing a normal ancestry. They are varied enough, especially for your first time playing, that you should have some fun with them. You can use a mixed ancestry, but I'd again recommend using just one full-blooded species here. I'm gonna choose. Let's go with a giant. You know, I've played a giant guardian before, so let me actually take someone different. Not that I'm using this for an actual player, but I'm gonna play this guy with a dwarf. That'll be fun. Choose a community. So ancestry is, of course, your bloodline. Community is where you live presently, and this gives you, both of these things give you an extra card. Let me go back here and show you dwarf. Gives me this card here, thick skin. I can take mark 2 stress instead of making a hit point of damage up to 2. Wow, that's pretty good. All right, and then choosing a community, I'm gonna choose I am not Valorborn. What is it called? Highborn. Okay, not the best, not the most optimal for my class, but still one that maybe, maybe I grew up in high society, and but I was a guardian or a bodyguard. Head over to experiences. This allows you to give you a lot of options, a lot of narrative roleplay hooks for you. You can make this as detailed or as sparse as you'd like. Clothes that are, just use descriptions here. My clothes are going to be, let's say, tattered and brown. Hopefully that brown is the color of the yarn. My eyes are like, I'm going to go with some, just some ordinary brown eyes. Not that brown eyes have to be ordinary. In fact, I'll make them brown and filled with sorrow. How about that? A body that is strong, lean, and let's see, and covered in many scars. All right. The color of, and I guess this is related to the character, or the character's body, right? So the color of, let's go with autumn leaves. With an attitude like a happy-go-lucky. Unexpected, but maybe that's fun. A happy-go-lucky child. All right. Same thing here. Now, this is what was mentioned in chat, is that these background questions specifically relate to other player characters. Now, it is possible that you can create questions of your own. I'd recommend sticking with these. I've seen players create very pigeonholing kind of questions. It's fine to create questions of your own. I just recommend using these ones. And this comes with the permission of you and the person you're putting in that section. Ask them a question and try to figure out something fun and interesting to play with. This gives you just a preset relationship with those you're adventuring alongside. It helps prevent some later discrepancies that might arise between the party. But each of your character questions are different. They come from your class. So these are the Guardian questions. These might even be Guardian Stalwart specific, but these are at least Guardian questions. So this is the section you're going to want to mention. Maybe what you do is you post in chat, hey, one of my questions is this. Maybe this one's personal. Are all these ones personal? Ah, I'm in the wrong section. Create connections. Here's where all the connections to everybody else is. So post these questions in chat. Hey, one of my connection questions is quote blah blah blah, and then somebody responds and says, oh, that sounds like something that fits with me. This is easier to do in voice around the table, but you can do it in chat, and that'll save us some time later. But answer background questions, answer connection questions, and then choose experience. Again, be as detailed as you'd like with this. You want to strike a balance here. You want to make it meaningful, but not too specific, because if it's too specific, you won't be able to use it. Experiences can come into play throughout the game. Let's say one of my experiences, let's say I was a royal guard. Okay. I was a royal guard. That means when I'm in play, I can add this +2 bonus during an event or during a roll that my experience comes up. I have to spend a hope to do it, but that's fine. I'm a royal guard. So maybe I know the ins and out of a king, like of a castle, or maybe I know what it's like to speak to nobility, whatever. If I said, however, that I was just a guard, well, now it's like, it's, yeah, it's almost too generic. Okay, what kind of guard was I? So anytime that I go to a town, am I just going to know, it might be, you want something that is generic enough to be applicable, or general enough to be applicable in lots of situations, but specific enough to have meaningful interaction with with the world. So I'm going to go back to Royal Guard here. It gives you some examples down here, right? And I'm going to say my other experience. Let's do something silly. One of my experiences was I was balding, but now I'm not. Okay. Who knows what that will come out to play with. Maybe I'll interact with somebody who's bald and it'll create a good opportunity. All right. That is pretty much everything. The next section is the level up section, but you are level 1, not level 2. I didn't name this character, so let's go back here and give me the name of, let's see, Snurd. Nope, I'm a dwarf. Well, that still works. Snurdgrass. Let's do that. Snurdgrass. I'm a he. And now I can begin. Oh, that was the beginning of the character. So now you click character sheet here. This is your character sheet and has everything on it that you will need to use. Notice that there are some tabs here that will switch around and allow you to do different things. The journals tab, I think, is especially helpful in this. It allows you to create entries. These are personal, these are personal entries, right? So let's say notes about our quest. And some words there. And then it saves it, and I can just open it up and I can edit it, and then I can close it again. Let's say I have a new one. Let's say I have remember my emissary. Who's the one who sent me? I put his name in here, and I say this is what he wanted me to do. And now my emissary is here. It shows you the date created. This is helpful in a long-term campaign, but whatever. And then let's say I want my recipes, the recipes that we've gathered. I'm not sure if that's actually, it might be in the Beast Feast tab. But let's check. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so new ingredients. You don't have any ingredients yet. You don't have any recipes yet in your cookbook, but there you go. Equipment here, you're going to want to make sure that you equip things. It'll pop up here. And you are limited. If you try to equip two-handed things, it won't let you. In fact, I did a bad job. I equipped a shield that's one-handed and a weapon that's two-handed. I should not have access to both of those. Does it give me? Oh yeah, I see. So it took off my weapon in order to give me my shield. So I need to go back and adjust that. You can manage equipment directly from here. So I just need a hammer, you know. Advanced is always going to be a tier 2 item, so I won't waste time on video doing this, but I'd have to change that out. And then anything else that you're equipping, like armor, equip that. It should automatically change all of your stuff up here. And then you can equip a healing potion or something also that allows you to immediately consume that. All right. So this is where you're going to spend most of your time, the effects and features, but you can reference your details again. And then your effects and features is where you're going to look at your ability. Clicking on an ability, you'll be able to see some more details over in the sidebar, if that's relevant. Here. And then there is, again, everything highlighted will pop up for you. And you can keep track of all things. If you click on a dark blue box, it will spend it automatically. So keep track, right? So I had 3 hope. I clicked that, and now it gave me this. Let's say I had 2 armor slots filled. I don't know that it would have done both of those in sequence. Let's find out. Yeah, so then I have to click the 2 armor slots, and it removes my 2 armor slots up here. But I'll go over all of the rules of what each of these things are later. Just know that blue boxes allow you to click them, and they remove the corresponding things on your character sheet. You have all details listed here, check boxes, and everything. If you don't know what you did, you accidentally broke your character, you can go up here, hit that downtime button. Downtime will allow you to take a rest. Go ahead and hit that long rest and It won't actually repair everything or fix everything for you, but it will let you do some of those things. Reset once per session features. I've done that now, and we should be all good. This character sheet is back to basic. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be glad to answer them. If I can't answer them in chat or easily, then we can talk about them at the beginning of the session, and you should be good. Excited to play. Thanks.